process can generate good leadership in our schools. So that is the statement that I'm just about to read. Can I now read? Thank you so much. Our first statement to Teacher Service Commission to re-advertise position for principals and deputy principals without mandatory requirement for master's degree. UPET has written to the Teacher Service Commission demanding the suspension of the processing of the applications for promotions to headship of secondary schools that closed yesterday, 17 September. Representation of the interests of the qualified teachers, candidates for the positions advertised. The online application portal rejected applicants and applications by teachers without master's degree, who continue to, by far, the largest pool of qualified applicants. I want us to understand the element here that in our employment contract of the Teacher Service Commission with the teachers who teach in high schools, never has it ever occurred that the Teacher Service Commission has put master's degree as a condition for employment, leave alone for leadership. In the teachers' regulations, code of regulations, and all that requirements that requires that a teacher holds a specific qualification. It has never featured that master's degree in education becomes a requirement. So in this regard, we fall to the Teacher Service Commission for picking on this front to make the leadership of schools, headship of schools, or service provision in schools become very cumbersome. The requirement of a master's degree was irregular, punitive, and superfluous. Even with the extraordinary effort by many teachers in service to advance their training, not many of them currently have master's degrees. Many more who would have made effort to obtain the qualification have never found it necessary for the basic reason that the employer has never recognized the value of master's degree and of any postgraduate qualification until now. So it is from this point that we feel that the Teacher Service Commission is just becoming mischievous and cheeky, bringing a requirement through the back door. Instead, we expected a policy direction which is already canvassed. Nobody has ever been made aware that for you to teach in a secondary school or to head a secondary school of a specific category, you must have masters. So this is where we found the commission. To compound the problem, there are some regions in the country where hardly any teachers have master's degrees. But such regions, like anywhere else, have scores of highly experienced teachers who meet very legitimate qualifications for the promotions. Needless to add, many of these teachers have served in N for over 15 years. These qualifications have been renamed C3, C4, and C5. Quite a number of those who were meant to have or to meet the requirement for these promotions are in the field, and they are everywhere in this country. So we find the Teacher Service Commission operating with very, very punitive processes and without any regard to following their own regulations, their own act. Because all along we have always asked that the Teacher Service Commission develop a scheme of service for those teachers with postgraduate qualifications. And they are always reported and rebutted that you don't need masters to teach in high schools. A fact which is faulty, because for you to retain your quality as a teacher in this country, you need to upgrade your skill. You need to retool yourself. You need also to advance in the new environment, how to cope with the new trends. It is only through scholarship. Teacher Service Commission has never even had a budget to have teachers given scholarship for this matter. In fact, even getting a study leave with or without pay is a real thorny issue at the Teacher Service Commission. Why must they come up with this requirement at this particular time, when they know very well that we are implementing the CBA we signed in 2016, whose provisions gave directions of only career progression processes. The Teacher Service Commission has not in itself addressed itself to the programs which are developed by Kenya Education Staffing Scheme, where teachers go to learn management skills in these institutions. They have never given such teachers who have undergone such programs preferences. Where did they come up with this element of masters? But above all, the portal itself was made to scuttle the applicants. Because you go there, you fill up, when you finish the idea of academic credentials, then you go to the next page. If you don't have masters, it tells you that you cannot proceed. This is the reason for which we are asking the Teacher Service Commission, this process must begin afresh. The requirements of a master's degree for the promotions has no legal or regulatory backing whatsoever. No instrument governing the teaching profession, be it the Teacher Service Commission Act, the Code of Regulations, the Teachers' Employment Contract, or even the collective bargaining agreements with the unions, stipulates the qualification of a master's degrees for headship of secondary school. Therefore, KUPPET will reject any promotions that will ensue from the application process which is under review. We have called on the Commission to re-advertise the positions using the laid down academic professional requirements, which will allow all qualified teachers to compete fairly. At the same time, KUPPET is a firm believer in the value of advanced study for teachers. In fact, I think I mentioned it earlier, that for us to retain our quality, our capacity, it is only through advanced study. It is only through advanced study. It goes without saying, in any field, whether it is surveying, whether it is medicine, whether it is law, if you don't go for advanced study, you cannot be a good professional. We therefore believe in that premise. We have repeatedly urged the Commission to create a scheme of service for teachers with postgraduate qualifications. We shared with TSC a comprehensive roadmap for the management of teachers with postgraduate qualifications several years back, but the document has been gathering dust on the Commission's hands. This is no secret. In fact, as they have now brought in to manage schools through using even senior teachers, two deputy principals in a school, this is something which we had undertaken a study, and we gave the TSC a proposal. But they did not even come back to us to tell us, can we develop together how we make masters a real qualification for those who are heading school. In fact, even when you look at the ident, it is also very vague, because they are looking for any masters. For the running of schools and for administrative purposes, the Teacher Service Commission must have come out clearly on how they expect the applicants to meet these requirements. Our union has existing memorandum of understanding with several universities, Kenyatta University, Jomo Kenyatta University, College of Agriculture and Technology, and Embu University. Even teachers get concessions on fee payment, but they have never recognized to ask us to also become party with them in this endeavor. It is upon the Teacher Service Commission to consider this question very seriously, because, as I've said, we will not recognize any promotions which emanate from this kind of advertisement. This process is flawed, it is illegal, has no merit, lacks the basics of hiring or promoting personnel. A policy like this, to include a very serious academic credential, must be canvassed with the stakeholders. And in this case, KUPPET represent teachers in post-primary institutions. And these issues are very, very pertinent to us. These facts notwithstanding, a master's degree at the moment should be an added advantage and not a mandatory qualification for the promotions to HTP schools. Members of the press, this is the reason for which we call you. questions, relevant questions to this? You can see Mr. Waitembo and Moses, the secretary in Nairobi, has just come to join us because his office is jammed. In fact, we have this morning received over 200 complaint letters ranging from Trans Nzoia, Kisumu, Busia, and so on. We are not going to be apologetic about this with the employer who does not want to adhere to the rules, who implements their own policies which nobody knows. It is very bad, but we are not going to be apologetic. Let them recall this. If they don't recall this, we are not going to recognize these promotions. Thank you.